Hello friends, welcome back to Commerce tutorial. Today's topic is the capital budgeting. So which is very important for the decision making purpose, and this capital budgeting is also known as the decision making. Right? Also known as the decision making process. Why it is very important for the decision making means whenever we are talking about the capital budgeting, it involves long-term investment of the funds. Let's see here, it is a process of making investment decisions in capital expenditure, right? So like if you want to purchase any machineries, any buildings, any sort of fixed assets, so that will involve more funds, because so whenever we are utilizing our capital for the investment purpose, then we will think about this capital budgeting. Okay, so then whenever we are invested in these long-term investments in the form of fixed assets and all those, then the benefits will be drawn over a period of time for more than 1 year. If the benefits are lesser than 1 year, then we don't consider that as the capital budgeting or the capital expenditure. So that can be considered as the short term or the normal expenditure, that is the revenue expenditure, we can treat it. Right. If the benefits are drawn for more than 1 year, then only we can take this as the capital expenditures. Okay. So, and whenever we are investing in these long-term funds, those are non-flexible in nature, and we need more funds for the long-term commitment. Once we invested those funds cannot be reversible. Means if we made a decision and if we want to reverse the decision, so we may get huge loss of funds from there, because so whenever we are entered into the agreements with these long-term funds, those will be very costly funds. That's why it is a non-flexible in nature, right? And for the analyzing those, or for the evaluation of those investment proposals, we have two different methods. One is the traditional method, another one is the time adjusted or the discount method. Then why we have the traditional method, then why we have chosen this time adjusted or the discounted method? So in this traditional method, we don't consider the value of money, or we don't consider time value. Right, so that is the main disadvantage for the traditional method. Why? Because so whenever we are invested or whenever we are taking the decisions towards investment purpose, we definitely consider the time value. Right, so whatever the amount we have today, so that may not be equal to the tomorrow's 1 rupee. Right, so in such a manner, in these traditional methods, we are ignoring that time value of money. Then here under the time adjusted or the discounted method, we are considering the time value of money. Right, time value of money. So that is the main difference between traditional method and the time adjusted or the discounted methods. Then see, we may focus today on the discounted methods. So there are three different methods of this. One is the net present value method, popularly known as the NPV method. Second one is the internal rate of return method, popularly known as the IRR method. And the last one is the profitability index method, known as the PI method. Then what is this net present value and why we need to calculate this NPV, IRR and the PI? That is the profitability index. Then just look into the net present value method. Net present value method, it will describe the future cash flows at present values. Right, in the future we may are receiving some thousands of rupees, some lakhs of rupees, but so that will be received in future. It's not present. We are receiving in the future. We are not receiving any amount at now. Then these future amounts will be converted into the present. Right, and based on that present values, we will take the decisions. That's why this method is very popular. There is a net present value method. And for those who are appearing for the Usmania University examinations, like BBA third semester students, there is a financial management. For those people, it is very important concept. And for the BCom I thought in the 5th or 6th semester, they will have these, and they will get more benefited from these classes, right? So then what are the steps to follow for the calculation of this NPV? Because whenever we are going to calculate, if we have more idea about that, then we can directly calculate it. But if as we are the beginners, then we may follow the steps. So based upon those steps, we may get perfect into the calculation of these net present values. So the first and foremost method is determine the cutoff rate or discount rate. Then what is this cutoff rate and what is this discount rate? So cutoff rate or discount rate, both are the same. Then why we need to determine? Because so this is the minimum rate where we can get the funds, right? So first we need to determine this discount rate. Then next, so consider the cash flows of the project before depreciation and after tax. So cash flows of the project means if we are invested in a particular project, let's suppose I have invested 10,000 in a particular project for a period of 5 years or 10 years, then I may get cash flows for the remaining future of the time or remaining life of the project. Then those are the cash flows, these right? So then these cash flows, how we can consider it? Before depreciation, because depreciation cannot be deducted from the cash flows, but we can deduct the taxes, right? So that is consider the cash flows of the project before depreciation and after taxes, right? Then we can calculate the present value factors by taking the discount factor. Calculate the present value factor by taking discount factor or discount rate, right? Then how we can calculate it? So for the calculation of this, we have one formula, or else we can refer the present value tables from the books, then we can get it. But in examination, sometimes we may or may not get those present value tables from the corresponding examination center. Then what we will do? If the same question is calculation of NPV is asked in the examination, then we will have a formula. So I will tell you later when I am discussing about the problems, then I will tell you. So with the help of that formula, we can easily get the present value factors and we can apply it without taking help of any tables. That's the present value tables. Without taking help of any tables, we can calculate the present value factors. So I will tell you how it is, because that is the very, very essential. So all the times we may not have the present value factors or the present value tables with us, then it will be helpful. Then later on we can calculate the net present value by taking the initial outflow, that is the investment, and the calculated present value. Then we can calculate the NPV. So if your calculated NPV is positive or 0, if it is positive, then we can accept the project. If it is 0, then we may or may not, means we can think about those projects. But if it is negative, if the calculated NPV is negative, then straightforward we should reject the project. Why? Because whenever you are incurring the losses, right, so we don't consider or we don't enjoy the losses, right? We can enjoy only profits or at least a BEP point, that is a break-even point, where there is no profit and no loss, that is a zero situation. So at least we can enjoy this situation, but we cannot enjoy the negative situations. That's why the project should be rejected. If there are 2 or more projects, then how we can choose the decision? If there is a single project, then based on these 2 factors we can consider the acceptance or the rejected. But if there are 2 or more projects, then for the calculated NPVs, we will assign the ranks. So based upon their NPV values, we will assign the ranks, and by taking the help of those ranks, we can select any one of the project. So that will be possible. Again, for the calculation of those 2 or 3 mutual projects or more than 2 projects, then we will follow the same procedure. That is the steps to follow for calculation of NPV. Again, the same procedures we will follow and we will calculate it. right? So let's we take a problem and to understand the concept very clearly. For that we will consider a problem and we will calculate it. Alright, see friends, so this is the problem. So problem on NPV. So what is given, no project is acceptable unless the yield is 10%. Means unless the yield is 10%, in the sense we should earn a minimum of 10%. So this is our discounted rate. Cash inflows of a certain project along with cash outflows are given below. So this is the year, these are the outflows and these are the cash inflows. So in the initial year we have invested 1,50,000, and again in the first year, means after completion of 1 year, we are invested 30,000 again, and these are the cash inflows for the 5 years. Salvage value at the end of the 5th year is rupees 40,000. So salvage value in the sense scrap value we can say. So at the end of the 5th year we have another 40,000 value worth assets or something in the from that project. Then he is saying calculate NPV. So now see, I am going to calculate the solution for this. So if you want to calculate the NPV, then we have a definite pro forma, means we need to follow some pro forma. First we need to do, that is a calculation of present value of cash inflows, right? Calculation of present values of cash inflows, right? So for this we need year inflows in rupees, and the next one PV factor, means present value factor at the rate 10%, right? 10% discount factor. And the next one is the present value, right? If you say this is the 1 and this is the 2, and present values can be 1 into 2. Okay, so the easiest way to calculate the present values, right? So year 1 we have the inflows of, see here in the year 1 we have inflow of 20,000, then copy the 20,000. In the year 2 we will have 30,000, then take the 30,000 here, right? So in the year 3, right, in the year 3 we will have, that is 60,000. In the year 3 we have 60,000. In the year 4 we have 80,000. In the year 5 already we have, that is the 30,000. And again in the year 5 we will write 40,000, because this 40,000 is the salvage value, right? Salvage value as given in the problem, and these are the respective inflows, right? Then how we can calculate these present value factors? Okay, so these present value factors can be taken from the present value tables, but here I am not going to use any tables, but here I am using one formula, and that formula is 1 by 1 plus r to the power of n. 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power of n. Here n means number of years, r in the sense discounted rate. Okay, so I will show you 1. So 1 divided by 1 plus 0.1 to the power of 1, that comes to 0.909. Then take the again same 1 divided by 1 plus 0.1 whole square, then the value is 0.826. Then again for the third year we will use the cube, then the value is 0.751, 0.683 for the fourth year, 0.620 for the fifth year, 0.620 for the same fifth year. Now we will multiply these two values, inflow, cash inflows and present value factors. 20,000 into 20,000 into 0.909, then it comes to the value of 18,180, right? So likewise 30,000 into 0.826, then the value is 24,780. 60,000 into 0.751, then the value is 45,060. 80,000 into 0.683, the value is 54,640. 30,000 into 0.620, 18,600. 40,000 into 0.628, then 24,800. So then add all these present values, then it will comes to 1,86,060 rupees. So this is the present values. These are the present values from the future inflows. If you take the total of future inflows, let's see, 60 plus 39, 20 plus 30, 50, 50 plus 60, 110, 110 plus 80, 190, 190 plus 30, 220, 220 plus 40, 260, 2,60,000 rupees that you are going to receive in the future. But the same, if you are converted into the present values, then the value is 1,86,060. Then next, from these present values, we need to deduct our initial investment. Let's see here, we have 2 years investment, that is a 0-year investment and the first year investment. Means for the investments also, right? For the investments also, we need to calculate present value, right? So investments present value. Right. So year 0 and 1 investment, and please remember whenever there are 2 consecutive years investment, then only we are using this method. Otherwise we will use the straightforward a single method. So I will tell you that one also. And 30,000 is our investment. Our total investment is 1,80,000. Then the present value, right? So PV factor at the rate, same 10% discounted we will take. So for the first year it will be 1, and the next year it will be 0.909. Then present value, that is a PV, we can say present value, 1,50,000 into 1, 1,50,000. 30,000 into 0.909, 27,270. Then the total is 1,77,270. So this is our investment, right? So this is the present value of investment. So these are the present value of future cash flows. Then NPV is equal to present value of future cash flows minus present value of investment, right? So now take, so 1,86,060 is the present value of future cash flows, and 1,77,270 is the present value of investment. Then the difference is rupees 8,790, right? Means we are getting a positive NPV, so we can accept the project, right? So when if there are 2 years investment, sir, in the problem or in some other cases he will ask only 1 year investment, that is a 0-year investment that is given. Then in such a situation we straightforward take 1,50,000 as the present value of present value of investment, then we can use it. So this is how we can calculate the net present value. And for the calculation of these PV factors with the help of your calculators, and please remember friends, in the examinations scientific calculators are not allowed, so please carry a basic 6 function calculator. So in that calculator, first you can press this 1 divided by 1 plus 0.1, then you will get this answer. Then later on, don't do anything, just keep on pressing is equal to, then you are getting the lateral values. So till how many years that you are in need, so that many years you can keep on pressing equal, then you are getting these values. Okay, so hope the concept will be very clear for all. Okay, so if any doubts, then you can comment me in the comment section regarding your doubts, then I will try to clarify in the next videos, right? So please like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe the Commerce Tutorial channel for better videos and better understanding of the concepts. Thank you, friends.